So we work with thousands of students every single week, helping them to win scholarships. The earliest we've ever had anyone win has actually been the 5th grade, because students can actually start winning scholarships in kindergarten. We're talking about $30,000.
I didn't know that. Scholarship for like grade school?
Yes, yes.
I didn't know that you could get.
You've been on Google before, and you know the artwork above the box.
Right.
That Google artwork is the scholarship. And so they have it for K through 12, and they have a different theme every single year. And so the student can win $30,000. That alphabet would hold until they make their college decision. And then the school also gets a technology grant that they're able to use for whatever they need within the school.
Wow. So you help kids at 5, starting at 5 years old?
I haven't had my kindergartner yet, but 5th grade has been our earliest. We even had a middle schooler that was able to send his entire family to Ireland and represented the continent of North America for his STEM science project.
Wow, that's awesome. So you're changing. I mean, this is for some, the scholarship. I mean, what you're doing could be the difference between going to college or maybe going to work. Yeah. Right. You know, in some cases, if they don't, you know, because a lot of folks just, you know, they just they apply to schools. They don't really know how they're going to pay for it. They hope that, you know, some magic grant would pop up and pay for everything. And then a lot of times students make their decisions on where they're going to go based on where they can afford.
Exactly. And our big thing is not just to get people to a debt-free degree, but to get them to the place where they're graduating debt-free with money in the bank. And so we have a lot of students. One of our very successful students in the last year, she's won $120,000. And so that additional money now has her on the path when she graduates from her undergrad degree, which is at a pretty expensive school, she's going to have money in the bank. We had another one, she graduated $70,000 in the bank, and now she's just gotten basically her dental schooling. This is her first semester she started over the summer. The rest of it's going to be free.
Wow. So I thought, and I'm learning that, so when you get a scholarship, if you get more scholarships than the tuition cost, the student actually gets to keep that money and use it to, let's say, put as a down payment on a house or something like that.
Right. It gets refunded to you. Now, there are certain rules and regulations at the school that are influenced by that, but we have students that are able to advocate sometimes within their department and get an extra $18,000 back, or $10,000 or $5,000, or even if it's $1,500, that can still pay for rent, you know, in certain areas to take care of housing expenses.
Wow. What's the largest award that you, well, two questions. The largest award of the student that you've held. And then also, what would you say if you had to guess on what would be the total amount of millions of dollars or tens of millions of scholarships that you've helped students get?
You know, to answer the second question first, when it comes to that, sometimes I think when the students are winning, they're so overwhelmed by winning that they think something is wrong. And we've even had parents say, I feel like I'm being greedy, that I'm winning all of this money. And I'm like, well, do you still have college to pay for? And they're like, yeah, so then you're not being greedy. And so in those cases, I mean, sometimes parents will come to us years later and say, hey, we referred this person because you helped us win an extra 30,000 years ago. So we don't even sometimes know the extent of millions of dollars. So it's hard for me to quantify that.
Right.
But I would say, I mean, we work with at least 30,000 students.
Okay.
So you can only...
So if each student gets $100, right? That's a
large dollar amount.
Okay.
And then when it comes to, we just had a student this week win $10,000 for grad school. Now her entire graduate education, or at least the first year, is paid for it. So I would say the amounts vary, but from $500 to full rides, we've seen it all.
Yeah, and what I think that a lot of students might miss is everyone's, you know, of course, wants the home run. They want the full ride, but you can get, you know, 500 here, 5,000 there. 1,200 there. There are lots of different scholarships, right? I mean, what you said from 500 to full ride, but what are the types of scholarships that people don't know about that they can apply for?
So this is a great question, and I don't think you are, but I'll ask it anyway. There are scholarships out there for vegans. I don't think you're a vegan.
No,
right?
I didn't. Right?
No, but there are scholarships out there.
I like vegan. Right?
$10,000 for you to talk about veganism, promoting veganism at your school. There are scholarships out there for knitting and crocheting. One of my students, she did not play fantasy football at all. She didn't even watch football. She applied for a fantasy football scholarship using her mathematical abilities and won a $75 gift card, and then it entered her into a $10,000 scholarship for her to go after.
Fantasy football scholarship. To college, right? Okay.
For college. So I mean, there's a wide variety of scholarships that you can apply for. Yes, those in your major. Yes, those around your hobbies. But I think sometimes people just think I have to be a great student to win, and that's not the case.
Okay.
It helps, but that's not the.
Okay. Yeah, I think when I was growing up, and I know a lot of my friends, we always thought, well, only the 4.0 kids get the scholarships. So sometimes that prevents a lot of people from even trying.
Exactly. And you don't have to have a 4.0 to win a scholarship. We've seen students that have awful GPAs, but because there are scholarships out there that don't even require that, you can still go after it and just tell your story. And so from there, we've seen tons of students be successful.
Wow. So how do you? So you've got a booming scholarship business, obviously. But how do people how do you get the word out? I mean, how do people? I know you do some speaking. I know you do a lot of with the news organizations and that sort of thing. But what's the number one way that people actually learn about you?
So you can visit us online at scholarshipinformer.com. We also are on social media, on Twitter, Scholarship HQ, and then on Facebook and Instagram, Scholarship Informer. And we typically post scholarships. Our team does Monday through Friday, even sometimes on the weekend. And we post the ones where people will come back and comment and say, hey, I won this scholarship. My student won this scholarship. So we're not posting the most popular ones. We're posting the ones that you can actually win.
Right. Yeah, I'm sure everyone. Yeah, that's probably more important. Yeah. At the end of the day, like, don't tell me about that. That you need a 4.6 and the 1540 on the SAT to get. Right. I want to know about what can the regular student do. And I know as being in real estate, a lot of real estate agents, real estate brokers, small business owners, sometimes they might earn income, but then they're writing it off and that sort of thing. So. And some of them may even not have a means by which to get that information and get those FAFSAs and things complete. So finding a resource like you would be very helpful. And so I understand you have different programs, different packages. I know that you have lots of free resources, but that first step is going to be to go to scholarshipinformers.com
and reach out, tell them that, let me know that Melvin sent you. And I would also say, going even back to the clients that you serve, we help students win scholarships if their parents are entrepreneurs. And I know you're connected to a lot of entrepreneurs. And so it is one of those things, anything and everything about a family, about a student can be used to win scholarships. And if you are struggling with that, visit us online or reach out on social media. And we're more than happy to help you get a clear path to pay for college.